Oopsies. Pressed the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. But now we start live from my parents' kitchen. I hope everyone's having a lovely, lovely, lovely afternoon. I heard it was pretty empty though. Bernie was there. No. Back on Long Island, at my mama and daddy's house. Let me know if you could hear me. Let me know if you could see me. I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good. But I got a lot of stuff loaded on my computer. And last time we had some buffering issues. So let me know if you could hear me. Let me know if you could see me. Good. Sounds good. So, I want to make an announcement for the world. I now have a new baby niece, baby Colby Sheridan. Colby Sheridan. She is a beautiful young lady, and she was born at 4:42 a.m. Monday morning. She is named after my grandma Charlotte, who passed away in 2017. And my grandma Charlotte and we called her Mamo. I was very close with her, and I wish she could have been alive to see Colby. It's the first, I guess, the first woman in my immediate family. I have two brothers, my dad and my mom. So this is really exciting. I'm happy for my brother, his wife, and I had a little chat with my niece Colby as she was sleeping in my arms. And I told her that pretty soon after she's, awake for a little longer, not crying as much, I'm going to start teaching her about the oligarchy and what she could do starting at a young, early age to fight back and topple the oligarchy. So she smiled when I mentioned oligarchy. So you could tell she already knows what's up. So that's why I wasn't live yesterday. I was at the hospital meeting her. Remember your checklist, everybody. Smash the like button. Smash it like it's Kamala Harris pretending to be a Bernie Sanders progressive. Smash it like it's George W. Bush telling you mission accomplished. Smash it like it's Donald Trump ruining your birthday party. Smash it like it's Dick Cheney showing up at your wedding. Smash it like it's Nancy Pelosi telling you to eat your broccoli. Smash it like it's Hillary Clinton telling you Medicare for all will never, ever come to pass. Smash it. Become a member of Status Coup at statuscoup.com/join. We are one member away from hitting 500. Now, that number 500 is between Patreon and our membership on our website. So between the combined, we're at $4.99 right now. So who's going to be the lucky 500? This is how we're going to grow our business long term. So thank you. I'll speak more on membership in a little bit. Follow us at Status Coup on the Twitter, and I'm at Jordan Sheridan. Subscribe to our podcast, bit.ly/Status Coup podcast, and you can join our email list. Go to statuscoup.com, wait for the pop-up, enter your email. That's very important that we grow our email as well as our membership. The most successful companies these days have a very big email list. We're not going to email you 24/7, but we will email you to tell you when we're going in the field, which Ty and I will be hitting the road again very soon, as well as other things. So thank you for all those contributions. And we will have a special, I'm going to announce it in a little bit, but we'll have a special thing going on this week for members and Patreons. So, Kamala Harris, the California senator who's been in office for 2 years, she is running for president after being in office for only 2 years. And CNN, interestingly enough, after Elizabeth Warren announced her candidacy. Oh, by the way, this is a super chat. So make sure you show us the love in the super chat, and I'll give you a little bit of an update. We raised a good chunk of change on Sunday. So now we're at $47,782. So I'd love to get to 41,000 today. Who's going to get us there? Can we get to $41,000? That would be 200 and I can't do math. But we prefer GoFundMe right now because YouTube is taking 30%. 30% of our super chat proceeds. So if you feel like leaving us a few bucks, do it in the GoFundMe if you don't mind. So Kamala Harris did her town hall yesterday on CNN. It's very interesting to me that CNN, Elizabeth Warren announces her candidacy. Nothing from CNN. Tommy Bayless in the live chat. Tommy Bayless, who, by the way, called me earlier about a certain Kamala Harris clip where he thought I was being unfair, but unfortunately for Ty, he didn't look at the full video or he didn't look at the full context, and then had to call me back and retract the statement. So Tommy is going to be coming out to New York soon, so we'll be in the flesh together. Oh, God, that's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. I think you guys will enjoy us back in the flesh together. So Elizabeth Warren announces she's running. No town hall for you, Elizabeth Warren. Kamala Harris, Julian Castro announces he's running. No town hall for you, Julian Castro. Kirsten Gillibrand announces she's running. No town hall for you, Kirsten Gillibrand. Tulsi Gabbard announces you're running. No town hall for you, Tulsi Gabbard. Kamala Harris announces she's running on a Sunday. Hey, can you do a town hall with us in less than 24 hours? Interesting, isn't that? And I did a prior report on the fact that Kamala Harris's number one donor in her career are individuals, let me say, not the company itself, but individuals who work for Time Warner. And Time Warner, until last year, owned CNN. Isn't that interesting? Time Warner, individuals from Time Warner donate $127,975 to Kamala Harris just during her 2016 Senate campaign. Then all of a sudden she announces, and within 24 hours, CNN is falling all over themselves for Kamala Harris. So I do find that connection very interesting. So in fairness to Kamala Harris, I want to start with what I thought was good. So I don't have the clip up because I have too many clips on my computer as we speak, and I don't have my Ethernet cord, so I don't want to put too many clips up. But I thought that, in fairness, I thought her best answer was on guns and gun control. She talked about an assault weapons ban. She talked about an assault weapons ban, expanded background checks. And I thought she called out politicians like they should be called out, saying, let's have a discussion with the Republicans blocking common sense gun control or gun reform, if you want to call it, after they see the autopsy photos of the children from Newtown and Parkland. Let's have a discussion then. I mean, I can't knock her. I can't knock her for that, And by the way, Darth Corey, who just asked me that? How much did they donate to the other candidates? I've been spending most of today and other days, and I will be spending most of this week looking into her numbers a little bit more, as well as other candidates. So I'll have a full report for you, Darth Corey. So I thought her answer on guns was pretty strong. It's not the toughest thing, and most Democrats speak this language, so I'm not going to knock her for that. I thought it was a strong answer, and it's pretty much unacceptable as a Democrat if you have any other suggestion. The other thing is, here's Tommy Bayless being an apologist and giving her the benefit of the doubt right off the bat. So I thought that was a good answer. I thought she had other good answers, but I am here not just to take what she says at face value, which is the problem with politics. A lot of more naive and less critical voters and Americans basically look at somebody's personality, their charisma, how they present themselves. They take them at face value. Oh, she's for Medicare for all. She's for this. She's for that. That's great. And I love her disposition or his disposition. And you go vote for the person really based on their character, their personality, and what they tell you they're going to do. But as I always say, follow the money. Follow the money. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Let me see what you've already done. So I have a few clips here I'm going to play for you. I'll give you my analysis. She said a lot of things that, in theory, I agree with, but I also have doubts whether she actually is sincere about also. So, and Ty thinks I'm personally attacking her. I am not. This is all on policy. Here we go. Here's the first clip. And by the way, CNN threw themselves all over her. It was embarrassing. There's one clip that is even more embarrassing, but here's the first clip on Medicare for All.
Thank you so much. What is your solution to ensure that people have access to quality health care at an affordable price? And does that solution involve cutting insurance companies as we know them out of the equation?
I believe the solution, and I'm actually feel very strongly about this, is that we need to have Medicare for all. That's just the bottom line. And I'll say this, and this is, I think, why you're also asking this question. What we know is that to live in a civil society, to be true to the ideals and the spirit of who we say we are as a country, we have to appreciate and understand that access to health care it should not be thought of as a privilege. It should be understood to be a right. It should be understood to be something that all people should be entitled to so that they can live a productive life, so they can have dignity. And having a system that makes a difference in terms of who receives what based on your income is unconscionable, it is cruel, and in many situations that I have witnessed, inhumane. I have talked about my personal experience of my mother who passed away many years ago and going through the healthcare system with her. And she had the benefit of having Medicare, but not everybody does, and it is inhumane. It is inhumane to make people go through a system where they cannot literally receive the benefit of what medical science can offer, because some insurance company has decided it doesn't meet their bottom line in terms of their profit motivation. That is inhumane.
Let me press. Hold on. Okay, let's continue.
Just to follow up on that, and correct me if I'm wrong, to reiterate, you support the Medicare for All bill, I think initially co-sponsored by Senator Bernie Sanders. You're also a co-sponsor on it. I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance. So for people out there who like their insurance, they don't get to keep it?
Well, listen, the idea is that everyone gets access to medical care. And you don't have to go through the process of going through an insurance company, having them give you approval, going through the paperwork, all of the delay that may require. Who of us has not had that situation where you got to wait for approval and the doctor says, well, I don't know if your insurance company is going to cover this? Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
All right, let's go to the next question.
Why that too?
Wow. Hell. Let me tell you something. That was good. That was good. Good answer. I like the answer. I'm sure, Ty's not going to be happy with me when I say this, but I'm sure that's what she told Hillary Clinton's donors in the Hamptons last summer. Hey, guys, let's get rid of it. When she met with an executive from Citigroup in the Hamptons 6 months after she became senator, I'm sure that's what she told them. You know what, guys? I'd love to take your money, but we got to get rid of the private health insurance industry. We just got to get rid of it. So I thought it was a great answer. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. So a few things. This is where Ty and I tend to disagree on a lot, because I love Ty and he's not here to defend himself, in fairness, but he tends to give people the benefit of the doubt where I do not, because I look at your actions, not what you're saying now. Barack Obama ran on universal health care and a public option, and then he didn't really fight for a public option. He gave the Republicans whatever they wanted. I mean, Hillary Clinton borrowed Mitt Romney's flip-flops. I mean, Hillary Clinton, when Bernie Sanders pushed her left, she flip-flopped so much, she made Mitt Romney look consistent. But I had trouble, and most progressives had trouble, believing that Hillary Clinton was actually going to follow through on most of the progressive promises she made, because it's not truly what she believes based on the money she took and what she has said in the past. So before I went live today, I actually did some homework. I contacted a few political contacts I have in California, and I said, can you tell me if Kamala Harris, when she was running for Senate in 2015 and 2016, when Medicare for All California, the universal health care bill in California, was still in play, it had the chance to pass. California is, on paper, the most progressive state in the country. It passed the House. The governor supposedly was going to sign it. And the House of Representatives, I think his name was Anthony Rendon, blocked it. So did she come out in favor of Medicare for All for California? Did she say anything? I mean, I looked it up I looked it up. I couldn't find anything that she said about that. And I contacted 3 people I know in California that are politically active there, and they said she didn't take a position. Now, in fairness, she was running for national Senate, not California. But, I mean, if Medicare for All is what you believe in, if you believe in single payer, then why wouldn't you be leading the charge when you're running to become a California senator for California to lead the nation as an example for Medicare for All? It's obviously not a question Jake Tapper was going to ask, because Jake Tapper stood there like the mannequin that he is. So dare I say, listen, I don't want to knock her for saying the right position. This gets down to psychology, right? She's saying on paper the right position. But it gets down to psychology. Do you believe her, right? So I'm not going to tell you who to believe. You can believe whoever you want. Politics, Ty, you're funny. By the way, folks, 238 people watching, only 94 likes. Do you dislike me so much that you won't like this live stream? Dare I say, if I get 150 more likes, this audience is going up to 300. So what are all you doing that haven't pressed the like button? Wake up. Wake up. Smash it. Smash it like it's Jake Tapper telling you this is journalism. Smash it like it's Tommy Taifi Bayless telling you he's going to have something done for you on Wednesday and it comes in 2020. Thank you very much. More likes equal more views. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I don't have that much faith that Kamala Harris, if elected president, would actually fight for Medicare for All. That is my opinion, because I don't see anything in her history. She, when she was elected, this is what she said. We can't afford to be purists, Harris said. You have to ask that question of yourself. Are we going to be purists to this resistance to the point that you let these guys go? These guys that she's talking about are Joe Manchin and Heidi Heitkamp. Or can you understand that you may not agree with 50% of their policy positions, but I can guarantee you will disagree with 100% of their replacements' policy positions? So that is part of the question. What do we have to do in this movement? What do we have to do in this movement to be pragmatic? So right after she was elected to the United States Senate, she was basically, that's talking to you progressives. Eat your broccoli and vote for Joe Manchin and Heidi Heitkamp. And, I'm not an extremist. When Beto O'Rourke was facing Ted Cruz in Texas, listen, I'm not from Texas, but I said, listen, if I lived in Texas, I would vote for Beto O'Rourke. I mean, I would vote for a human snail over Ted Cruz. Okay? I feel differently about national elections. If it was Kamala Harris versus Ted Cruz, I'd vote for Kamala Harris. Okay? That's me. Doesn't need to be you, but that's me. But, when you're saying Medicare for All, well, you're coming to it after Bernie Sanders led that charge. You're coming to it when Bernie Sanders, he was out on the cliff for many, many years when he was called basically a communist for advocating for this. And you're coming to it as the political winds change, as it's 70% popular. So I have a problem with that. Not because she's a woman, not because she's not because she doesn't have a lot of experience. She's only been in office 2 years, but because I have a problem with these Johnny-come-lately progressives. And I worry, am I going to get Obama'd again? Meaning, am I going to... I mean, I loved Obama in 2008. I'm not embarrassed to say it. A lot of people did. And I thought he was going to heal the world. But I was very, very disappointed in totality. He did some things well, but most of it, I mean, he let bankers off scot-free. We got a Republican healthcare plan. We're still in Afghanistan. I mean, I could go through the list. So you have to look at the overall context. And I have a hard time believing that Kamala Harris, while she was running for Senate, did not say anything about the fight for universal healthcare in California. So you tell me. You tell me. By the way, Kamala Harris, you know, when you're talking about Medicare for all, well, and ending the private health insurance industry, that doesn't exactly square away with you currently. If you read news reports about 2 weeks ago, there were news reports Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand, Cory Booker were all dialing Wall Street executives over the last few months, seeing if they could get support. Well, sorry to tell, that doesn't exactly square away with ending the private healthcare industry. Let me tell you something. You know, another industry that big banks are invested heavily in, other than pipelines and fracked natural gas? Pharmaceuticals. So you're never going to hear this context on CNN. Frankly, you're probably not going to hear it on some other outlets. But this is the context. She could say whatever the hell she wants at a CNN pep rally, because that's what it was. It was a pep rally for her. So, in theory, great answer. Do I believe it's going to happen? No, I don't. I don't. Now, you could say, all right, Jordan, but let's say if she got elected, maybe she's faking it, but she wouldn't go for Medicare for all, but she would fight for a public option, so that's better. Well, let me see what my options are then. But right now, no, I'm not for that. I'm not for that. We need Medicare for all, universal health care, not just a public option. Muhammad Levy, obviously I have to work harder so I can donate more. Jordan is still shooting in his mom's kitchen. You know what I think, Muhammad? Thank you for that comment, by the way. By the way, I'm not living at my parents' house anymore. I'm just on Long Island taking care of some business. But I actually think no matter how successful we get, I wouldn't mind still broadcasting from my parents' kitchen or, my apartment, because it's not really about where you are. It's what you're reporting, right? It's home is where the heart is, right? And my heart is not in the flashy, but it's in the raw and authentic. But you should donate more, Muhammad. That's for sure. All of you should. Here's the GoFundMe link. Can we get to 41,000? Just saying. Just saying. Got 273 people watching. What are we at? All right, we just got oh no, we didn't. We're at 40,782. So if we got, I can't do math, but $5 from each of you watching, that's probably 41,000 right there. Ty and I are hitting the road soon. GoFundMe. So let's play the next clip from Kamala Harris that I found interesting.
What's your name?
Kyle Kaufson. He studies political science, and he has a question about student debt.
Oh, wait. I forgot to make an important point. Sorry. Don't you find it interesting that when Bernie Sanders or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talks about Medicare for all, Jake Tapper, well, how are you going to pay for that, sir? How are you going to pay for that? Port Film Co-op, $2 in the super chat. Thank you very much. Sam Cedar, any good? I thought his show sucked today. I don't have anything nasty to say, but I don't watch Sam Cedar. I think he's a little more establishment for my taste. I think he does some good stuff, but I don't watch him enough to really have an opinion. But I don't like some of the videos he did on Jimmy Dore. So that's what I have to say. But I find it interesting, the double standard, because Jake Tapper, when he interviews Bernie Sanders, when he interviews Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, well, how are you going to pay for this thing that helps the proletariat. But when he interviews Kamala Harris, I didn't hear that question. Did I miss something? Did I miss Jake Tapper asking how you're going to pay for it? Maybe he knows it's not something she truly believes in. Just saying. Okay, next one.
Yes. As a freshman college student debt is a big concern to my peers and to me. Here in Iowa, we have seen a significant increase in tuition, mainly due to lack of funding from our state government. What is your plan to make college more affordable and to help student debt?
All right. And thank you, Kyle, and thank you for being here and for stepping up. And you're giving voice to a lot of voices around our country that need to be better heard and understood. First of all, the fact that you have decided that you want to pursue your education and pursue the dreams that you may have is something that should be rewarded. We have a system in place right now where there are so many students like yourself around the country who are preoccupied with the knowledge that they will not be able to pay off those loans anytime in the near future. This is wrong. This is an upside down system. What we need, first of all, is we need a national priority and commitment to debt-free college, of which I support. We have got to reform the Pell Grant system to allow you to actually get the loans that you need, but the government is supplying as opposed to for-profit organizations. We need to get rid of the for-profit colleges that are preying on students like you. I have personally prosecuted for-profit colleges that take advantage of students like you, promising a job, promising a bright future while taking your money and not giving you anything in return. And then we also have to recognize that we have not fully understood the importance of giving our young people a pathway to be able to pursue their dreams. And that is about debt-free college. It is about student loans. And it is also about really a commitment to the kind of education that we are also offering and having a path toward the education that is going to be about getting the jobs of the 21st century. Frankly, in so many ways, our leaders, I think, have fallen short in recognizing that with automation happening, it is real. Technology taking hold in so many places that we have also got to create a path for education that pays attention to what Iowa is doing so well around renewable energies, doing what we need to do around focusing on where you want to be and are we giving you the tools to get there. But student loan debt is something we have got to deal with as a priority. Because when I was going to school, we could graduate and we could pay off those loans and we didn't have to worry like the way you were worrying, and it's wrong, and we are not doing our future. In fact, we're doing our future a great disservice to not fix this problem. So thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle. We received.
So that was her on student loans and affordability. So excuse me for not having it ready, but there is an important tweet that I must show you for this part of the discussion. So roll with me for a second while I find it. Do 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 do. Here we go. So here's the assist from Tim Dickinson. I don't know who that is. Oh, he works for Rolling Stone. Okay, so Kamala Harris, a little bit different. Apparently, from December 17th of 2018 to January 27th of 2019. So that's about a month. Apparently, tuition-free college has changed to debt-free college. So again, thank you, Tim, for digging that up for us. But I mean, this isn't even like a flip-flop a couple years later. This is a flip-flop within a month. And by the way, if you remember the 2016 campaign, free college tuition at a public university versus debt-free college is a very, very different thing. Debt-free college is, I attempted to read Hillary Clinton's debt-free college plan, and thank you, win one at a time for the $5 in the super chat. But I attempted to read Hillary Clinton's debt-free college plan. To tell you the truth, I didn't really understand it, but from people that are experts, Hillary Clinton's debt-free college plan was kind of tinkering around the edges, but not going after the really systematic problem with prices, of college prices, as well as student loans, which is price gouging. These universities are allowed to do whatever the hell they want, because one of the big secrets here in the United Corporations of America is universities pay the politicians too. A lot of these politicians, some of their biggest donors are college universities, and that they pay the politicians, and then they could hike prices. I mean, what is Harvard nowadays? What is some of the most prestigious universities? $60,000 a year? $65,000 a year? I mean, when I went to college in 2004, I mean, I got like a little money in scholarship. I think it was $20,000. Now my university, which, tell you the truth, is not exactly University of Tampa, not exactly, Yale. It's $40,000. It's crazy. I mean, when I have children, they're not going to physical college at this point. You'd have to work 24/7 for the rest of your life to be able to afford sending your kids to college, or, your kids are going to be basically shackled to debt for the rest of their lives. So college-free, debt-free college includes more access to grants, access. It's a lot of access. Debt-free college is not what we need. We need to have the same principles that we have for K through 12. So you pay into the system so your kids can go to get an education at public schools. I mean, it's not free, but at a reasonable rate. And then when your kids are out of college, you're still paying those taxes where you live, so other kids could go to college. That's how it works. And there's no reason it should have stopped. It should stop into college. And by the way, let's keep it real, folks. Even with a bachelor's degree these days, you're not guaranteed a quality job with a bachelor's degree. Hell, there's people going back to school for master's degrees in finance, in engineering or construction or whatever it is. You're not guaranteed a high-paying, great benefits, stable job. So on that, that's the thing I'm talking about, folks. You're going to get CNN saying, oh, wow, I thought she did amazing. I thought she did wonderful. Frankly, I mean, there's also some independent outlets out there that buy into a lot of this crap because they have Trump derangement syndrome. But you got to actually look at what they're proposing. And frankly, there's a reason you're changing from free public college in December, like a month ago, to college, debt-free college. Does it have anything to do with who you're trying to get money from? Ty, is that reasonable for me to say? I know I'm not allowed to take on Kamala Harris. Ty doesn't like me taking on Kamala Harris. He thinks I'm doing personal attacks, but I'm not. I'm not for debt-free college. It is not the same thing as every single person in this country having the ability to go to public school tuition-free. And by the way, giving students and Americans that access, because that's real access, so they could go. You're investing, and you're gonna have such a greater payoff in the end, because you're not gonna have students buried in student loan debt. But who benefits from the student loan debt? Private companies, banks that have bought into these student loan debts, just like they bought into houses and mortgages. So, a lot of the things she's saying sound wonderful. And by the way, in theory, I'm all for having a black woman president. But I'm not going to just cheer because she's a black woman. And I'm not going to treat her any differently as far as how I critique politicians, because I wouldn't be doing my job then. So I think it's very, 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 very telling that she changed that policy position in 1 month's time. But Jake Tapper obviously didn't study up at all because Jake Tapper's not paid to actually challenge anyone. He's paid there to be a mannequin. So let's continue.
A lot of questions about the Green New Deal. This is a sweeping plan to combat climate change and economic inequality with a federal jobs guarantee. I want to bring in Cameron Van Coten, lawhead. He's an Iowa native who works at a nonprofit. Cameron?
Senator Harris, since Democrats have regained the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives, we've been hearing more about a Green New Deal to fight climate change. You have yet to fully endorse or reject it. Will you fully endorse the Green New Deal tonight?
I support a Green New Deal, and I will tell you why. Climate change is an existential threat to us, and we have got to deal with the reality of it. We have got to deal with the reality of the fact that there are people trying to peddle some idea that we should deny it, and they are peddling science fiction instead of what we should do, which is rely on science fact. I know what we need to do in terms of so much of what the plan has to be around investing in solar, in wind. I'll tell you that, and this gets back to also Kyle's point about jobs of the 21st century. The Bureau of Labor Statistics just came out in the middle of last year with a list of the top 20 jobs in the United States for which we're going to see the greatest amount of growth. And it's going to be a function of the fact that we need those jobs to be filled and we don't have the skilled labor to fill them. Number 1 and number 2 on that list: installation and maintenance of wind turbines and solar paneling. And the reason it's on that list is because we need those jobs to be created and filled, because we need to be dedicated to that kind of work. And that's what a Green New Deal has to include. That's what we have to be about. And our planet is at great risk. And I think that the fact that we have policymakers who are in the pockets of big oil and big coal don't fully appreciate the fact that we are looking at something that is presenting an existential threat to our country. And listen, all children need to be able to breathe clean air and drink clean water. And we've got to have a commitment to a policy that will allow that to happen for ourselves and our children and our grandchildren. And right now we don't.
Thanks, Senator.
So that was her on a Green New Deal. On a Green New Deal. So a few things on this. Number 1, I thought it was a good answer. Not gonna lie. I think that was a good answer. I don't know why she didn't come out for it already, but she said the right thing. But you can't start. You cannot start with a Green New Deal or any of that stuff until you call for a ban on fracking. Who Bernie Sanders is the only president. Well, he's not confirmed. He hasn't run. Thank you, Maddie, $4.99 in the super chat. Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris 2020. LOL. Try saying that with a straight face. Thank you, Maddie. You cannot talk about a Green New Deal without first saying we need to ban fracking. And as of now, Bernie Sanders is the only, he hasn't announced yet, is the only potential candidate that is calling for a ban on fracking. This is not because I've been to a bunch of pipelines and I'm passionate about it. This is because experts, environmentalists, climate scientists say fracking is an accelerant on already damaging carbon emissions and other chemicals going out into the air. You cannot talk about a Green New Deal, and obviously Jake Tapper is not going to ask her, but fracking is first and foremost, and as far as I know, she hasn't said anything about fracking. So she could talk about a Green New Deal, but this is as radical, technically, as saying we're going to end the private insurance industry. Well, you're not going to, in one full swoop, end the private insurance industry. It's not like they're just going to, wave the white flag and be like, okay, Kamala. So fossil fuels are equally, if not more, entrenched in Washington, D.C., the lobbyist culture, the revolving door culture. So when you're talking about a Green New Deal, and tell you the truth, I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. I have also not heard Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez really laser in on fracking. So fracking needs to be banned because the methane from these hydraulic fracked gas pipelines, methane is worse for the climate and the environment than carbon emissions. And carbon is we all know, carbon dioxide, how damaging that is. So, I'm happy she's talking about a Green New Deal, yet you can't really be, Green New Deal without talking about fracking. The other thing that concerns me, and this isn't, by the way, only about Kamala Harris, but this is just in general. I tweeted this out earlier. You could say you're for a Green New Deal, but, why is your super PAC donating to the likes of Joe Manchin and Heidi Heitkamp? So this is her super PAC. This is how much money they gave and to who in the 2018 political cycle. Tom Carper, look him up in Delaware, #1 donor to Tom Carper, Dow Chemical, who is one of the main corporate polluters out there. Then you got, she lost, but you had Heidi Heitkamp, who loves herself some big oil. You got Joe Manchin, down there, 10,000 Kamala Harris's super PAC gave to Joe Manchin. I mean, Joe Manchin, between the coal mining and fossil fuel money he's gotten. So this isn't only critiquing Kamala Harris, because she's not the only one who does this. Certain candidates like Kamala Harris, their super PACs give to other Democrats. But how are you for a Green Deal? How are you talking about the existential crisis of the planet, but you're basically, coordinating or funding other politicians that are causing that? Doug Jones, too. He's only been in the Senate thanks to running against a child pedophile, but he takes a lot of money from the fossil fuel industry. Tim Kaine has taken money from the fossil fuel industry. So this isn't, only on Kamala Harris, but you got to look at the numbers. She's donating and getting funded by the very people. Thank you, Robert, $10 in the GoFundMe. Wendy, $5 in the GoFundMe. So now we're at $47,797. So a little over $200 will get us to $41,000. Who's going to be the lucky? Who's going to be the kind-hearted humanitarian? 1, 2 people, 3 people get us to $41,000. Because our money's not going to the fossil fuel industry, that's for sure. So, again, these are all very nice answers. But you gotta look at the money, and you gotta look at the context under them. Carrie, $20 in the super chat. Yes, fracking is a great topic for Bernie to run on, as well as clean water, air, and healthcare prescription drugs. Carrie, in 2016, Bernie called for a ban on fracking, so he's there already. He's definitely there already. So, and I agree. And to me, it's a non-starter. If you're going to be running on a Green New Deal, and you're going to be saying, I'm not taking corporate PAC money from fossil fuel industries, this and that, If you're not calling for a ban on fracking, if you're taking, you might not be taking corporate fossil fuel PAC money, but that doesn't mean you're not taking individual contributions from executives, which Beto O'Rourke, he broke the No Fossil Fuel Pledge because the No Fossil Fuel Pledge organization said he broke the pledge by taking individual contributions from fossil fuel executives. So, you want to say no corporate PAC money, well, you could still be taking individual money. And this is not, obviously this doesn't make Beto O'Rourke or Kamala Harris, the worst people in the world, but put your money where your mouth is. You're either asking for small dollar donations from environmentalists, from environmental groups, and progressives, or you're going to say, oh, well, I'm not taking corporate PAC money, but hey, individual executives, can you fund me? And by the way, same thing with the Green New Deal. You're not only, your super PAC is giving other senators money that take money from big oil, but you're begging Wall Street to fund you. Well, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan are all heavily invested in Dakota Access Pipeline, would be invested in Keystone Pipeline, Trans-Pecos Pipeline, Mountain Valley Pipeline, Atlantic Coast Pipeline, Rover Pipeline, Line 3. I mean, the list goes on. They're all invested in these natural gas and crude oil pipelines. So it's not just a straight line. Oh, she's not taking fossil fuel money from corporate PACs. Well, you are taking money from banks. And this is not just Kamala Harris. This is not just Kamala Harris. Kirsten Gillibrand, same way. Cory Booker, same way. Joe Biden, same way. Julian Castro, same way. So it's not always a straight line. Hey, look if they're taking money directly from fossil fuel companies. Are you taking money from the banks, investing them? Are you taking money from executives and individuals that work for them? This is what I'm saying. Darth Corey, I don't understand how more people aren't freaking out about climate change, because the United Corporations of America is basically run out of New York City, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. And the three of those are not really being hit absolute, the highest hit. Hey, Ty, if you're still in the chat, I just noticed you called. My phone was on silent, so if you want to get in on the conversation, you could call me back. So, okay. Well, here's another one.
I want to bring in Robert John Ford. He's a playwright and composer.
Oh, this
His
was
show,
amazing.
Caucus, the musical, has been presented every presidential election year since 2004. Robert?
Senator, many Democrats that I've spoken with agree that the primary objective for 2020 is to nominate the candidate that has the best shot of defeating Donald Trump. Some have also said that, given what occurred in 2016 and the current political climate, that a male nominee will have a better chance this time around than a female nominee. Would you please respond to this so that this man has a response ready the next time a man tries to mansplain why a man would make a better nominee?
Well, my first response, Robert, is this, which is that the person who presented that point really is not giving the American voters enough credit. They're smarter than that. The people who vote, the people who live in this country are smarter than that. They're going to make decisions based on who they believe is the best leader. They're going to make decisions based on who they believe is speaking truth, who is doing it in a way that gives people dignity, doing it in a way that elevates public discourse as opposed to bringing us to the lowest common denominator and base instincts. That's how the voters are going to vote, and that is going to be the basis upon who will win. And as far as I'm concerned, listen, I mean, in my entire career, I've heard people say, when I ran and ran as the first woman who would win, it's not, people aren't ready, it's not your time, nobody like you has done that before. I haven't listened, and I would suggest that nobody should listen to that kind of conversation. Thank you.
So, a few things on that. In fairness to Kamala Harris, I thought it was a good answer. I'm not going to lie. I thought that was a good answer from her. But I really played that because, what is this, a fucking pillow party? What is this? Is this a serious questioning and challenging of a politician running for president? Or are we having a slumber party? It's absurd. And by the way, as somebody who worked at MSNBC, as somebody who worked for a dark time in my life at Fox News, all of these questions are pre-screened by CNN. So trust me, CNN, they might have thrown out some questions that they didn't want on their air. But, oh my God, you're wasting several minutes of an already short, I mean, it's not a full hour because they have commercials, to have some guy ask about mansplaining? It's ridiculous. Am I being too cynical? And again, I don't actually have anything, I don't have a problem with her answer. The problem isn't with her. It's why are we wasting time in a town hall debate for basically ass-kissing of the candidate, whether it's Kamala Harris or anyone else? Can somebody tell me that? Vomit-inducing is right. Vomit-inducing is right. Before I get to the next clip, give me 1 minute. The screen's going to go black for a second for the almost 400 people that are watching. We have a fun thing coming up this Thursday. And by the way, it is probably not going to look pretty because Colin just made it last minute. If I could find it, that is. Here we go. this Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, our monthly video call. Our monthly video call for members, Status Quo members, and patrons at the $10 level. So if you're a $10 member at statusquo.com/join, if you're a $10 member, which makes you a coup de champion, you will be getting a link from us to join us in our video call Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific, where everything is in bounds. Well, I'll have clothes on, obviously. I don't really want to talk about certain things, but I will talk about mostly everything. I have gotten in trouble in the past for TMI, because I do like to do TMI, but I'll be on screen, you'll be on screen, we'll see each other, we'll talk, we'll share ideas, we'll share some laughs, maybe some screams, but this is our monthly video call for our patrons and members at the $10 or higher level. So you'll be getting a Zoom call if you are a member or a patron at $10, and I will, here's the link. It's a pillow party with Jordan. That's right. That's right. And if you're not a member yet, $10. $10 gets you this monthly call. Statusquo.com/join. Statusquo.com/join. Right there in the super chat. That's statusquo.com/join. Of course, you get other great stuff as a member at other levels too. $5 a month. You are Status Slayer, which gives you access to a lot of the bonus, the behind-the-scenes videos we do, our members-only email newsletter, podcasts, which Ty and I have to get back to doing. He's been working on the documentary. Coup de Champion, which I just discussed, get you all of that, plus a few other things, including this monthly video call. You can become a Coup de Commander at $20 a month. You'll be getting calls from Ty and I when we're actually in the field, which is exciting, as well as some Status Quo swag sent your way. And our annual option is the Coup de Calvary, at $147 a year, which is a $93 savings on the $20 a month level. So Status Quo membership is how we're going to grow. Membership is how we're going to stay independent, because I'm never going to be taking meetings with plutocrats or the very special interests we as a journalistic institution are so critically condemning. So we come to you, the viewer, for our consistent funding, and also growing our membership, which is almost at 500, Patreon and statusquo.com membership. That is how we're going to get larger funding, because obviously the funding we're seeking from outside entities, they want to see that we already have an existing base of support. As always, I tell you, I am not looking for funding from George Soros. I am not looking for funding from the Koch brothers, from plutocrats that heavily fund the Democrat or Republican Party. Not interested in any of that. We are looking for funding from outlets and individuals that are aligned with our progressive and proletariat values. So I hope if you have it in your budget coming up, join us. Statusquo.com/join. Statusquo.com/join. Thank you, Denise Gibson, 53. $5 in the super chat. I always look forward to your show. Only two possible candidates I'm interested: Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard. So far, me as well. Maddie Perry, another $4.99 in the super chat. I heard that Obama and others bought a ridiculous amount of body bags and non-perishable food. Just wondering if you have heard anything about that. I have not, but that scares me a little bit. Body bags and non-perishable food? Oh, God. I'm going to have to look that up. That's scary. Okay. On to the next.
That are grieving the loss of lives that should never have been taken.
Thank you, Pastor. President Trump has promised to bring troops home from Afghanistan and from Syria. On that topic, I want to bring in Dylan Meyer. He's a senior at Iowa State University in Ames. He's studying political science. Dylan?
Thank you, Senator. I was born in 1996, which means I was 5 when the War on Terror began. I've only ever known a country at war. As the War on Terror is on the cusp of entering its second decade, and 18-year-olds will be eligible to fight and die in a war that started before they were born, my question is simple. How do you plan on bringing our men and women home and creating a more peaceful and diplomatic foreign policy?
Yeah, well, we need to bring them home immediately, but we have to do it in a smart way. And, you know, I was in Afghanistan just days before the president made his announcement about withdrawing troops. The concern I have is that we cannot lead public policy, and in particular foreign policy, with a tweet. The concern I have is that we have got to understand that, first of all, in Afghanistan, we have lost 2,300 young lives. Over 20,000 lives have received permanent physical injury, not to mention all of the lives of the young people who have been sent to fight this war, who are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder and all kinds of other injuries in terms of what they are bringing back. And we have got to be more responsible in understanding that we cannot send our young people to fight these senseless wars and these endless wars. But we have to do it in a way that is also smart. And that means that the commander-in-chief has to read the briefing book, has to consult with foreign policy experts and ambassadors and generals and allies, and do it in a way that is smart. Do it in a way that understands that right now in Afghanistan, for example, right when I was there before the announcement went out, there was a whole process of reconciliation happening, where one of the bargaining chips was exactly that point. And so we need to have leadership in our country who makes the right decisions, which includes bringing our troops back, but do it in a way that is smart and strategic, and not on a whim and not by a tweet.
Thanks, Senator. The next question.
I agree in principle with what she said. I think that I'm a little cynical about it, only because I've heard this before. You know, I heard this from Obama. We're getting out of Afghanistan. You've heard from a lot of politicians. We got to bring the troops home. Got to do it. How are you going to do it? Well, I'll tell you later. You know, how long? 6 months? A year? How long? I'll get back to you. I will say she did vote against the $715 billion defense bill, which was passed in the Senate last summer. So this is from June. She, along with Dianne Feinstein, Kirsten Gillibrand, Jeff Merkley, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Rand Paul, Mike Lee voted against the bill. I believe Elizabeth Warren voted for it on the final passage, so I'm not positive if she voted for it on the final passage, but she did vote against it on the initial passage. So I'll have to get that. Carrie, another $10 in the super chat. Any word on reports that Elon Musk helping clean up the Flint water crisis? I might have missed your comment previously. Hugs. Yes, Elon Musk has pledged full filtration systems in Flint schools, which is definitely a good thing. Unfortunately, that is not the overall problem. The overall problem is still service lines that are connected from people's curbs into their house. The other problem that's not being addressed in Flint are the main pipes under the street that are damaged, but they're not replacing those main pipes. So you have service line pipes from the curb to the valve that's connected to your house, but there's also pipes in the middle underneath the street that were also damaged from the Flint River water. The politicians say, oh, well, we've added anti-corrosion chemicals to recoat the pipes, so they should be fine now. Well, I was just in Flint last summer, and most recently in November, there's still kids getting rashes from Flint's water. Still, almost 5 years later. So don't tell me it's not the schools aren't the problem. I mean, there might be problems in the schools because they have found high lead levels in some of the schools, but you got busted pipes in the underground, in the main pipes under the street. You have also damaged interior pipes in the homes that the state's not fixing and replacing pipes in people's homes. So imagine if a toxic water came through for 18 months. Okay, so they could change the pipes. I mean, Jesus could come down, bless the new service lines that they are replacing all of the lead service lines. But even if your water is going through those new service lines, which they're changing into copper and non-lead, well, if they're going into busted interior plumbing, you still have potential of lead and other contaminant heavy metals leaching into the water. So Elon Musk, if you want to do the right thing, you got to do every home, which he certainly has the money for. And the other problem is accountability. As Jen and I broke a few months ago in November, the state of Michigan cooked the data. They cooked the data. They flushed homes' water before taking lead and copper samples, which resulted in lower results. They did this, we found, in at least 35 homes. So it's a big problem. I'll be getting back to Flint at some point. Not our next trip, but soon. So, last clip here. The last clip here.
My question for you tonight is simple. In a society where nearly 1 in 5 children live in poverty, is the existence of multi-billionaires morally defensible?
Well, let's just say this. We have had policies in this country, at least in the last 2 decades, that have disproportionately benefited the top 1% to the exclusion of working families. We have a situation in our country right now where just recently this administration passed a tax bill that benefits big corporations in the top 1% to the exclusion of supporting working families. And that is unconscionable. And you are exactly right. We have babies in America today that are on the verge of starving. We have families that cannot pay their bills. In fact, one of my proposals is that we address this inequity around what has been termed what would be one of the most significant tax cuts for middle-class families in generations. And it is what I propose. I call it the LIFT Act. But what we would do is for families who are making less than $100,000 a year, they would receive a $6,000 tax credit that they could receive $500 a month. Understanding that we have so many families in America right now that are a $500 emergency away from complete financial catastrophe. Let's also understand that we've got to have economic policy in this country that understands that right now it's not working for working people. Right now in America, in 99% of the counties in America, if you are a minimum wage worker working full time, you cannot afford market rate for a 1-bedroom apartment. That is absolutely unconscionable. And so we've got to correct it. And part of it is that people at the top 1%, people who are making $10 million a year, who have $50 million a year, they need to pay more taxes. And we got it, and what we have to do is correct course. Because for too long, the rules have been working against working families and working for the benefit of the top 1%. We have to correct course.
Rachel Lunsford lives here in Des Moines. She's a new mom. She works in IT program.
So, oh God. Whoa, boy. So, listen. Am I against a $500 tax credit a month? No, I'm not against it. Do I think as if that is your main overall economic plan, is that enough? No, it is not. That is not enough. Not nearly enough. Thank you. We just got $5 from Denise Gibson. Question: would you consider interviewing Andrew Chang? As soon as you tell me who Andrew Chang is, I will consider interviewing him, but I am not familiar with him. $500 a month is helpful. It can be very helpful, especially to the poorest of the poor. It could be helpful to anyone, but that's an economic policy that is complementary. But if that is your main economic policy, taxes, we've been having this same tax debate, basically not for 20 years, as she said, for 30, 40 years. She's been talking about the lopsided nature of this economy. This has been basically going on 40 years since Reagan, and maybe even a little bit before that. So an extra $500 a month, that's kind of close to like unemployment insurance, right? So $500 a month is not going to, in a dramatic, radical way, lift people out of poverty. $500 a month is not going to dramatically lift people, from living paycheck to paycheck. $500 a month, honestly, might just go finally to help people pay off the mountains of debt they have, but it's not going to enriching their lives. It's just chipping away, and it's helping people. Jarther Gann, interview Abby Martin. To be honest with you, Jarther, I've reached out to her at least 5 times. I've reached out to her at least 5 times to interview her. So all I could do is ask, but I haven't gotten a yes, unfortunately. So, this kind of argument is not addressing the underlying problem, which is there are not enough actual jobs that pay real wages with real benefits. There are also, which I didn't hear her talk about during this town hall, has been the decimation of labor unions in this country. Thank you, Desi Murgy. $10 in the super chat. Thoughts about the deal reached by striking LA teachers? Good, bad, middling. Also, cover the First Step Act sometime. It's an interesting mixed bag. Ty has covered the First Step Act twice, I believe. So definitely Google Ty Bayless and the First Step Act. He can give you his thoughts. He knows a lot more about it than I do. The LA teacher strike deal, they weren't really asking for dramatic pay increases. They were asking for more resources. So in that way, I think it's a good first step. I would have liked to see them get pay raises, but that's not predominantly what they were asking for. I think they could have gotten a little more if they would have held out longer, but every city's different, so I don't fault the teachers for accepting the deal quicker. But overall, they did get a significant amount of additional resources for their classrooms and reduced class size, which is very, very important. So overall, I think it was a good thing. But, when you look at it, the overall problem in this country, decimation of labor unions, she didn't address that. The jobs being sent offshore to China, Mexico, and all the other countries around the world, so that Apple and Walmart and GM can basically get away with murder and paying for foreign labor. She's not addressing that. So $500 a month, yeah, it's nice. I'm not going to argue against an extra $500 a month, but that doesn't help the people who have been laid off or their industries and their jobs being sold to foreign countries. That doesn't change the game dramatically for those people. So, I'm just keeping it real. That's not enough of a plan. Maybe she'll have Northrop Grumman. Notary S says Northrop Grumman. Now I got it. I was saying it wrong. So maybe she'll come up with a more ambitious economic policy. But as far as I can see, a extra $500 a month, is that what you, the audience, needs to help you stop living paycheck to paycheck? Or is that money going to be spent in a minute paying off debt and student loans and medical bills? So I'm asking you right now, is $500 a month enough? Because, everybody's different. So for me, $500 a month is actually not enough because I'm not making a salary right now. I'm not taking much. I'm taking very little money from Status Quo because we still have to grow. But for most people that I've met on the road, $500 a month, they're going to spend it like that. Hank Moultrie, I piss 500. Well, I hope it's a nice piss. Oh, and that Kelly Elaine, always coming with the knowledge, Kelly Elaine. Kelly, you need your own YouTube channel. Kelly Elaine points out that's $500 a month before taxes. That's $500 a month before taxes. So what are you getting? $500 a month, depending on the tax. Maybe you're coming away with, I can't do the math. 375, 400, 410, I don't know. So again, is it a bad thing? No. A tax credit for the middle class, increasing taxes on the wealthy is a good start. But I think too long in this country, we've allowed the oligarchs and the politicians to distract us by frankly saying it's about taxes. Amari Jr., 5 real, is that real? From Brazil, Happy with Bolsonaro, big president. I got to disagree with you there. I think he's a maniac, in my opinion. But I think, we've been distracted just merely by taxes. Taxes going up or going down are not going to fix the systematic problem with this country, the systematic economic rigging in this country. And that rigging is the money in politics, the corporate influence, campaign finance reform, Citizens United, the destruction of labor unions, automation, and zero regulations on corporations being able to offshore your jobs offshore. It should be illegal to give tax cuts to corporations for them then to pay themselves back in stock buybacks. That's giving free money to oligarchs. No. We need to giving money with strings attached. Because you want to know something? If you're giving $500 to middle-class people, you know what they're going to do with it? Spend it right away. Back into the economy. Unfortunately, it's probably the majority of that $500 probably not going to go back into the economy. You know where it's going to go? To paying off their already massive bills piling up of debt. Thank you. Artificial Morphison, $5 in the super chat. If I was a senator, I'd push legislation that would make Congress have same health care as us, and if government shut down, they don't get paid either. Couldn't agree more. Notary S, $9.99 in the super chat. Enjoying the dissection of Kamala. I skipped her originally, but it's good to know more about her when we engage with others. Couldn't agree more. Autoface, $50 in the super chat. Thank you so much for that generous contribution. Awesome work. Thank you. Thank you, Autoface. Thank you. So that's what I think of Kamala Harris's town hall. I tried to be fair. I'm not a Kamala Harris fan, but I don't want to just, distort anything. So I tried to be fair. She said some things that I like. Unfortunately, when you look at the context, when you look at her history, when you look at the fact that she did not advocate for single payer in California, when you look at the fact that she takes money from banks, when you look at the fact that she's for a Green New Deal, but she's not banning fracking, when you look at the fact that she's for a Green New Deal, but she's still taking money from Wall Street that's invested in these pipelines, this is what's wrong with our political journalism in this country. We just look at the answers as theater. We react, and the majority of pundits and corporate journalists that cover campaigns, they don't actually address the conflicts of interest from these politicians, the gaping holes in their answers, the context of, wait, she's saying she's for this, but what about her past record? They just say, oh, she really presented herself well. Oh, I think she'll face Trump. She'll line up with Trump really well. It's all theater. It's all basically like, it's like they're judges, at a competition. And they're not offering you the context and the important information you need about their records to make an informed decision. Thank you, Desi Mergy, $10 in the super chat. I heard a video of Bernie getting drunk and shirtless with the Soviet surface yesterday. I saw that. That is strange because when I get drunk and shirtless, it's usually with Mormons. I'm not going to tell you who I get drunk and shirtless with, but it's definitely not the Soviets or the Mormons. Oh, God. Sometimes you got to laugh. And by the way, I told you this. Roll back the tape for all of you watching. I said, you watch. When Bernie Sanders announces, you watch. Wait for CNN, for H.O. Maddow to start doing, wait a minute. Bernie and Jane Sanders, they went on their honeymoon to Russia. What were they doing in Russia? Where did they stay? Who did they meet with while they were in Russia? Did Bernie collude with Russia? Was Bernie in on it? Is Jane Sanders really a member of KGB? I'm telling you, wait for it. It's coming. It's coming. Afriel, Lo, I'm really curious who you get drunk and shirtless with, Jordan. I haven't been drinking as much. I haven't really been drinking much the last like 6 months to a year. I've had digestive I mean, I never really drank that much anyway, but I've been having some digestive issues, so I've tried to stick things. So less tomatoes, less coffee, all that stuff. So I've been trying to have less toxic shit go in my stomach because I had acid reflux as well as some mini ulcers. But when I maybe, I got something for you. Maybe if you join our Patreon/member call this Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, if you're a $10 Coup de Champion at statuscoup.com/join, if you're a $10 member or a $10 patron, you'll be getting the Zoom link to your email to join us. Maybe then I'll tell you who I get drunk and party naked with. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. So, Golden Silence, Kamala offered empty platitude to a group of 500,000 people, which all of them clapped. I agree. I don't think it was 500,000 people watching at the CNN town hall, but I agree it was mostly empty platitudes. So, as a reminder, folks, thank you for the super chat donations today. We are very actively trying to grow this GoFundMe. Oh, wow. Now we're at $40,810. So thank you, Wendy Barton. Thank you, Patrick, $13. So now we're just $190 away from 41,000. And by the way, thanks to you guys gave us the permission we asked. We raised it to 70,000 because covering a campaign is expensive business, and we need as much funding as humanly possible to get out there. As I've told you, I have sources that indicate Bernie Sanders will be announcing very shortly, and we want to be able to cover his campaign and counter the corporate media propaganda. It is very, very important to have independent media out there. Of course, you'll have some. Maybe the Young Turks will be out there, but I don't know many other independent outlets, and, you could have your own opinion. If Young Turks is enough coverage. I think we need more coverage of the campaign because you're going to have an unprecedented amount of corporate media propaganda against Bernie. If you thought it was bad in 2016, you wait. So putting the GoFundMe link in there, obviously you're not all rolling in it, but if you do have some bucks, we'd like to get to 41,000. Our goal for the end of this month was 45,000. I don't think we're going to make it considering there's only 3 days left, but we'll see. There is the GoFundMe chat link. And by the way, membership is just as important. Membership is super, super important. And why we're pushing GoFundMe instead of Super Chat is because Super Chat, you know how much money YouTube is taking from these Super Chats? Thank you, Maki Rangy, $10 into Super Chat. Thank you so much. You know how much money Super Chat and YouTube take? 30%. 30% they're taking. It's highway robbery. But YouTube's also suppressing us and screwing us in other ways, so I'm not surprised. So, thank you for the Super Chat. Thank you for the GoFundMe. And also, definitely consider becoming a member, a monthly or annual member to Status Coup. This is how we're going to grow long term. $5 a month, $10 a month. There's a $20 a month option. And you could sign up at $147 for the year. We really, really, really want to grow through you, the viewer, not special interest. I ain't taking meetings with any plutocrats, no banks, no fossil fuel companies, no Democratic Party or Republican Party plutocrats. Hell to the no. Thank you for watching. We kept it to just focusing on Kamala's town hall tonight. Oh, one more thing. Did you notice what was not asked by CNN? I'm going to let you guess which important question wasn't asked by CNN about Kamala Harris's time as Attorney General of California. They didn't ask her. Kind of an important thing. A decision she made as Attorney General. There you go! HG Spider got it. HG Spider-Man 56. How in the world do you have a town hall with Kamala Harris and you don't ask, hey, Kamala Harris, why, when you were Attorney General of California and your prosecutors under you investigated Steve Mnuchin's One West Bank for a full year? and found he had multiple violations to foreclosure law, including not giving enough notice to those he was foreclosing on, and other violations. And your prosecutors recommended to you prosecuting Steve Mnuchin. Why is it that that wasn't answered? Could it have anything to do with CNN's former parent company, Time Warner, being Kamala Harris's #1 donor? To be clear, individuals from Time Warner, not Time Warner, the company, but individuals who work for Time Warner, who donated to her 2016 Senate campaign to the tune of $127,975. So I'm highly doubtful that 639 average worker bees who don't make a lot of money at Time Warner donated $200 to Kamala Harris, because that's how much it would have been. If 639 people who work for Time Warner donated $200 to Kamala Harris' Senate campaign, that gets you to $127,975. And the FEC, the minimum donation amount is $200 that you have to actually file with the FEC. Or the candidates, have to file with the FEC, $200 donations. So, you really think 639 average worker bees not making, big bank money at Time Warner were like so inspired by Kamala Harris's campaign that they donated? Just saying. Maybe next time Jake Tapper will ask. Jake Tapper, that bastion of journalism. But we do real journalism here. I will see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, most people, they're not lacking compassion. Most people have no fucking idea what the hell is going on in this country.